2 weeks ago, these 30 kids went back in time to a 1960s secondary modern.
I am not happy, boys. I am not happy. You are a shower.
They arrived an ill-disciplined rabble with no respect for the teachers.
I do not want to hear a single word from you.
You're asking me questions I'm going to answer.
They had appalling practical skills.
Girls, 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 I can't believe this. You are glazing with lard.
And the basics, like spelling, were a disaster.
Can you spell me the word tongue, please? It's not funny! It's disgraceful!
But gradually, the grueling regime of practical lessons is starting to pay off.
I am the best in the game. I am #1.
Could it be that these less academic kids actually benefit from 1960s schooling?
We're going to be smart, intelligent, touch typing, straight, assertive, ladylike young women by the time we leave this 1960s school.
Pay attention!
There are just 2 weeks left of term. In 10 days' time, the pupils will sit their all-important CSE exams, and we'll find out just how much these less academic kids have learned from vocational education. But this weekend, there's Open Day to look forward to, when the kids will get to see their parents again and show off the practical skills they've learned since starting school. Every day begins by tending the chickens and goats in the rural science pen.
Oh, look at this. What teamwork!
Over the past couple of weeks, the kids have become very attached to the animals, particularly 2 chickens they've affectionately named Harvey Jr. and Betty. Like the pupils, though, their time at Hope Green is soon to come to an end.
Hands up, those of you who eat meat. Nearly all of us eat meat. Can I ask you to put your hands up if any of you have ever been fishing or hunted animals? Some of us have done that. Fine. Well, the announcement is this. We have a highly qualified poultryman coming into school who will explain to you and demonstrate the humane way to dispatch chickens, that is, put them down. I strongly suggest that all of you attend. Would you stand, please?
Oh my God!
Harvey Jr. and Betty are no longer laying eggs, and so are going to be killed for their meat in order to make pies for Open Day.
Oh, they're crying.
In many 60s secondary moderns, animals were raised at school by pupils for sale in local markets over the school dinner table. Watching their slaughter was part of the process of learning where the food on your plate came from.
Yeah, died. Let me throw the chicken. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him.
Considering how fond the pupils have become of the chickens, they're surprisingly enthusiastic to watch their demise.
No, don't kill it. Kill it. I kill it myself.
Charlotte is the only conscientious objector.
You don't want to see them until you've got a piece of meat on the plate that you don't know, right?
Yeah, I'm okay as long as when it's unrecognisable, when you definitely can't tell that it's from an animal, but until then I'd be like, I wouldn't want to touch it.
Yeah.
I've been asked to come in to put your chickens out of their little misery for a little while, and so that I gather your girl's going to cook them.
Oh, yeah! We like that.
Does it make a noise?
No, I don't think they know what's happening, do they? I think it's quite quick.
Okay? Yeah. Right.
Oh no, look.
I want chicken, I want liver. Meow mix, please deliver. What the?
Amazingly, it's a task most of the girls seem totally unfazed by.
At first I was a bit squeamish and I didn't want to get near it, but now I just got used to it. It's just like pulling someone's hairs out, really. I'll never become a vegetarian because, I don't know, it's part of your diet. You have to eat meat. You know, it's protein. So, no, it's not wouldn't put me off at all.
Where girls are more likely to learn how microbes multiply during the cooking process, rather than actually how to cook the chicken itself.
Well, I've never really thought of kind of where my chicken has come from or anything, you know. It's not something you really think of when you want to eat. It's not very appetizing.
Yeah, it's not really
I thought I was brave doing the plucking, but pulling out this was just... I really did think I was going to actually do it. It's done now. Woo! Yeah. Woo! We're done.
I think it's horrible, and I keep thinking about Chicken Run, the film, and I kept thinking what them chickens might think like them.
Children in the 21st century, probably from the ages of 5, probably think that all our food comes from, I don't know, packages.
I knew if I saw it that I'd probably turn vegetarian and never eat chicken again, and I love chicken.
I believe that to be able to eat meat you should be able to kill it, because otherwise it's quite hypocritical.
It's a learning curve for a lot of people because then they're going to associate this chicken and this food on their plate together, and that's a good thing.
Back in school in the 21st century, we learned where food comes from like the factories, and then it's processed here and it's processed there. But in Hope Green, they've taught us that where our food comes from right from the beginning of the food chain.
Silence! Still to come, driving lessons with Mr. Vince.
Oh, this is good!
And driving Miss Gibson up the wall.
Are you refusing to do what I have asked you to do? I've now run out of patience.
I want you to write just the capital city when I give you the country. Right, number 1, France.
The pressure is on. In just a week's time, the pupils will be sitting their all-important CSEs.
Number 4 is the United States.
There's just a couple of days left to swat up on those core exam subjects.
Who was Jesus' father? Try again. Thank you. Stevie, how did Jesus feed the 5,000 people?
Did he not just cut it all out?
Miss Gibson has an extended double period of English to get the pupils ready for their exam.
We're going to spend the majority of it preparing your orals.
In the 1960s, a crucial part of the English exam was the oral test, where students would have to speak for 3 minutes on a topic of their choosing.
A good way to go about this is to write out your speech in longhand and then convert it to notes, because obviously what we do not want is all of you standing up. I like fly fishing because it is very fun. That is not going to work.
Oral classes were vital to improving the standard of spoken English in the classroom, not only in terms of diction, but also breadth of vocabulary.
And we'll get going. Firstly, you write out in longhand and then you convert it to notes.
Did you look at what we wrote?
Written. What we've written. You won't look at what you've written
Because
otherwise you'll just ramble. It'll be appalling. It's very difficult to talk for 3 minutes without preparing, Robert.
Watch me, I could get there now and do
No. I don't care whether you can or not.
So I don't have to write, do I?
Robert, your task for today is to prepare a speech. You will complete that task.
Persistent troublemaker Alex Roberts is having none of it, and claims to have already completed the task in just a matter of seconds.
I've finished.
You haven't finished, I can promise you. Or you can sit there very bored for the rest of the lesson, which is over an hour,
Okay.
in silence.
Okay.
And you can go and stand in the corner, actually, with your facing it, so I don't have to look at your smug little face. Get into the corner now. Now. Put down whatever's in your hand. Look at the corner. Take your hands out of your pockets. I'm sorry, Alex, I cannot find your longhand version of your speech. I am telling you to do a longhand version speech. Are you, let me clarify this, are you refusing to do what I have asked you to do? Well, that's what it sounds like. If you're not refusing, then you will sit down and you will do your longhand version of the speech. No. No. So you are refusing. Are you refusing to do the task that I've asked you to do, Alex? I'm asking you a simple question. Are you refusing to do the task that I have set?
Well, I have to ask a couple of questions before I can answer.
I've now run out of patience. And you've got yourself into a lot of trouble. Turn and face the wall. Mr. Vince, could you possibly come up here and retrieve a child from my classroom?
Roberts is sent to see the headmaster, while the rest of the class get a chance to read out their practice orals.
Alfred Hitchcock has made many of the most famous horror and thriller films of all time, including Psycho, which has influenced many of the modern-day slasher and horror films.
The kids have proved themselves to be totally useless at spelling, place names and times tables.
He stepped out of the aircraft with the biggest beam in his face.
But modern education has some pluses. GCSE English places an emphasis on communication and expression. And for these kids, the oral poses no problem.
To Baden Powell's surprise, around 2,000 boys turned up wearing neckerchiefs with different colours for each group. However, to Agnes's surprise, a large amount of young ladies shown up, calling themselves Girl Scouts.
Mr. Asante.
So far, Franklin Asante has underachieved at Hope Green, but he relishes the chance to finally express himself.
This is not finished, and please do not laugh at me.
We wouldn't laugh at you, Asante. We wouldn't be so rude.
She stood from a distance, tall, with ebony black hair that waved in the overheated sun. But at the time, my heart, like an amateur flower, had not yet opened its pretty blossoms to love. It may seem strange, but at that moment, my low-spirited soul was awoken by her rich scent of aroma. Like a drum roll practicing a routine, my heart skipped beats every time her lips parted to begin a sentence. That was when I knew I had fallen in love. She always melted me, but who was I to say that I had fallen for the girl that I had no chance with? A story of my life I thought I would never get through.
Clearly, modern schooling isn't all bad. No boy would have dared talk about his feelings like that in the 1960s. Alex Roberts is in detention, writing out his English oral topic.
Right, gentlemen, come and stand over here in one line, facing the car, with Goyen at one end.
Meanwhile, for the rest of the boys, it's the ultimate part of their car maintenance course. A chance for a driving lesson in Mr. Vince's Triumph 2000.
Do you know how to drive a car?
No.
Have you ever done it before?
No.
Okay. So we might not, today, get all the way around the circuit.
No.
Okay? So you've never driven a car before, ever?
Ever, never, ever.
Okay. This is going to be interesting.
In the 1960s, 95% of all the cars on Britain's roads were made domestically, compared to just 20% today. In the age of a thriving motor industry, secondary moderns taught car maintenance to pupils who would go on to work on the production lines. They also learned how to build their own cars, and even how to drive them.
This is the Self-Preservation Society. This is the Self-Preservation Society.
Now, give it a little rev. No, just rev it with the right foot. Feel that?
Oh! Yeah.
Excellent. And that was stationary going.
That was good.
It's an exciting world in the cockpit. Now, it's in first gear now. Right, let him come out slightly. And then just a little bit of revs.
Now.
There we go. That's too much. It's too much.
Ooh.
Okay.
What's happening now?
You see, if you can hear the engine change note that much, that's enough to send us flying over there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
So we're doing now.
Let's just bring that left foot out a little bit more. Here it comes. There we go. Oh. Touch in. Boink. Slipping first. Okay. Nice and easy. Nice and slow. No hurry. Here it comes. That's it. Bit of revs. And she's off.
Oh my God.
That's it. Okay. That's fine. Okay.
Loading
Slow down.
fast.
Slow down. Okay.
Oh my God, I'm too fast.
All right. Okay.
Oh, this is good.
It's exciting, isn't it? Okay, now then, what I want you to do is just bring your foot off the accelerator and slow down. There we go. Well done. You see how it only goes fast? Oh, bad luck. Okay. Not a bad start.
That was going. Oh, that's good.
There we go. That's it. Well done, Lewis. Well done. Nice controlled start. Excellent. I'm glad you've got the pose. How would you sit if you were relaxing in the car? Okay, and how would you sit if you wanted to impress a pretty girl that you've seen on the pavement? I see. We'll just start the car here. Do I give it some revs? Feel the pedal. Right, that's a bit too much. No, stop. Okay. Oh, bad luck. Okay. There we go, again. Nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Slowly bring out that clutch. Slowly, slowly and evenly. Okay, that's it, that's it. Okay.
I don't seem to be controlling the car.
That's all right. Take your foot off the accelerator. Completely. Okay.
Then I'm turning, yeah?
That's right, turn to the right. Good boy.
Okay.
Good boy.
Oh, thanks, sir. That was good. I'm glad I did it.
Well done.
Okay.
You made me feel like a good teacher.
Oh, yes, sir.
I would have loved to hammer that car all around this field and maybe had a few donuts and smashed it through a wall of fire. I would have loved it, done a bit of stunt driving. But you can't have everything, can you?
I try to press the ladies with that kind of, you know, that, because the girls like, if you got a good car, if you're looking nice and smart, the girls will smile back at you. If you're lucky, they come in the car as well. Yeah.
Alex Roberts has been kept out of driving class, having earlier disobeyed Miss Gibson. It's not the first time he's been in trouble. Since his very first day at Hope Green, Roberts has been misbehaving. He's been disruptive in class.
Get out my sight. Go!
And disrespected school rules.
Fold it up, put underneath your pillow. This is all a mess.
His naughtiness landed him the school's harshest punishment.
Stand up straight, Roberts! You must respect the school rules!
But he still won't knuckle down.
Roberts.
Ms Gibson, I've just come to report that Roberts' formal punishment will be the ironing of all of the Scouts' neckerchiefs or yellow scarves prior to the weekend camp.
Brilliant. And I hear you've got an apology for me as well.
In the form of a rhyme.
Excellent.
Derogatory and argumentative. In analysis I might be. Look beyond what you assume to be right and concentrate on what you see. Ironic it may seem that I feel you fraudulently interpreted myself, as I tried to be a lone ranger and battled teaching criteria off the shelf. Seriously, who am I to tell a uni graduate I'm right and you're wrong? I'm just a cocky and arrogant performer when a crowd's present thinking I'm a don. I want you not to be sympathetic just because I'm apologetic, because that's just false and basically quite pathetic. Unnecessary confrontation which I'm more than sorry for. I strongly insist that my attitude to yourself and others are no more. Sincerity and language complexity helps me put my apology across to you. I'll tell you with no proper English my words to you are true.
Right, that may be the best apology I've ever had, actually, and if you meant it, then I'm very impressed. I want you to understand in return, the reason you frustrate me so much is because you're very talented at English, but you don't know it all. I don't think I know it all. Anybody that thinks they know it all usually doesn't. And practice does make perfect. We'll draw a line under this. A very good poem.
Thanks.
Alex Roberts has been a very interesting pupil at the school. He has been showing signs of real frustration, and this has been manifesting itself through being very confrontational, evading work, and it seems that the reason this is happening is because he's feeling very under-challenged by the kind of work he is being set. He's actually quite academic. I'm sure this happens all the time in the 1960s secondary modern schools. There must have been lots of children that just failed their 11 plus and found that they, for the rest of their school time, were not academically challenged.
Coming up, the trouble with boys.
What do boys usually do? Wee in your face.
When boys become men. There are less than 24 hours to go till the Hope Green Open Day, when pupils will be briefly reunited with friends and family for the first time in over 3 weeks. As well as catering for the event, they'll also be providing the entertainment, with a recorder recital, a maypole dance,
No, Erin, look! Take the slack off your ribbon!
and a coordinated gym display. There's a long way to go till it's perfect, but spirits remain high.
Open day. I cannot wait for open day.
Even if you're an alien, you do miss your people back in space or wherever, and I'm only human and I do miss people back at home.
Today I got really upset because I was thinking about what it's going to be like to say goodbye to my mum and family for the second time. It was so hard the first time, and I just don't want to have to say it again.
So looking forward to it. Can't wait to meet my parents, but I really don't want anyone to meet my parents. No offence to them, but they're pretty embarrassing.
What? One of the highlights of Open Day will be the boys from the bricklaying class showing off their first major erection. A brick seat for permanent use at the school.
How's that look?
Considering 3 weeks ago they didn't know how to mix mortar, it's a major achievement.
I think us boys are surprised ourselves, to be honest. I didn't even think we would have finished the bottom by now, but I reckon by the end of today we would have finished it.
My dad will be proud because he's a bricklayer, and I've been to help him once. I've only been once, and I got cement in my eye, and I never went back.
Excellent.
Well, when I first came here, I didn't think it would be as productive as it has been in the ways of like bricklaying or something. I thought it was just going to be a DOS, so like muck around. And walking away from this place, I think I've gained quite a lot in just 4 weeks rather than like 5 years at school, just like learning GCSEs. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Take your hand off. No, that's nice. That's nice.
I would say that this is probably one of the best things I've ever done. Seriously, ever done in my whole life. I'm really proud to do it.
I think when my mum comes to see this, she's going to be so proud because I've never given her any excuse to be proud at my other school. When she comes and sees I've made an achievement, she'll be like over the moon.
Now you're immortalised in your own chair, the first one you've ever built, and whoever sits in it will know that you built it. Well done, I'm well pleased.
It's time for the girls' very last parent craft class, and the ultimate test in their goal to be perfect mothers.
I have a visitor for you. Right, this is Jack and his mum, Hilary. Last week, I bathed a doll. This week, I'd like one of you to bath the baby. Come on then, Jack. What do you think is the most important thing when changing a nappy?
Keep the baby alive.
Keep the baby alive. Right, that would be a good starting point. What do boys usually do? Wee in your face. I have often had a little boy wee in my face. Right, shall we hand her over to your other mummy?
In the 1960s, real-life babies were regularly seen in parent-craft classes, as girls learned how to bathe them and correctly change their nappies. But for many of our modern teenage girls, this is their first contact with a real-life baby.
We're just about finished soaping him and rinsing off. What are we going to do next? We're drying.
Mitch, I'm really not liking the colour of this baby. It's really purple.
The girls have come to accept cooking, cleaning, sewing and serving, but motherhood is a step too far.
I hate having babies crying makes me feel distressed.
Britain has the highest teen pregnancy rate of any country in Europe. Amazingly though, in modern parent-craft classes, the nearest students get to the real thing is a battery-operated plastic doll.
What are you doing with that poor baby?
After I've taken this class, I don't want babies at all. Watching that baby cry and go purple, it scared me to death. While I'm sitting in this room, it makes me feel like I'll be in a room all my life looking after children. That's what it feels like. So it's like just so boring. I just don't like it at all.
Hopefully, if they do have a child later on, something that they've been shown or something that they've heard will actually help them in the future.
know from experience that it's really difficult if you have no experience, and you've suddenly got this baby that's real, and you've got to do something with it. You've got to look after it. You've got to bring it up. If you've not had any experience at all, it's quite difficult and quite nerve-wracking too.
Hi, Mr. Cattermole, could you come in, please?
The kids at Hope Green have 1 week left before going out into the big wide world. In the 1960s, practice job interviews for school leavers were commonplace.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please sit down.
Do you know who I am?
Yes, miss.
You could have said good afternoon, Mrs. Wellham, couldn't you?
Yes, Miss Wellham.
Thank you.
Career expectations for secondary modern kids were low, and the vast majority found themselves in blue-collar jobs, such as factory workers and labourers. By the 1960s, women made up a third of the workforce, many entering the job market purely as a stopgap between school and motherhood. Competition for any job was tough, and so performing well at interview was essential.
Go back to the door and start again. You don't come into an interview and say hi. We're not in America.
Today, the pupils are being quizzed for an imaginary job at a factory to hone their interview skills. Good posture, smart appearance, and clear English are vital to creating the right impression.
Can I sit down?
You may.
Thank you.
It's not actually can I sit down. May I sit down? Can is being able to, and you're quite able to sit down. It's may I. Do I have the permission to sit down, all right? Did you brush your hair this morning?
No.
No, I thought not. You don't go to an interview looking like that. Next time, comb your hair. Look at it.
What we would like to know is something about yourself. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your character.
Not Start your sentence immediately. Go straight into it. No ums and wells. Thank you.
I'll do it again
I'm an extremely friendly person and I'm a conscientious worker.
But I'm also good at working individually.
Could we have but? Keep saying but, please, to me. But, with a T, you should but I'm. But. Right. But I'm.
Weaknesses? Do you have any weaknesses?
Arrogant, cheeky, and imbecilic.
I'd say my weaknesses were saying and not putting a T on the end of my butt.
You may have to answer the telephone for us, and we don't want to lose customers because you can't speak clearly and they can't understand you.
So you're just really patronising me and...
You don't want the job?
No, not anymore.
Right.
Right.
See you later.
For one of Hope Green's naughtiest pupils, Shinna Onawinde, the interview is a chance to redeem himself a little.
Once I'm on the roll, I find it hard to stop my work, so I really like to get into my work, and my work has to be perfect.
Bit of a perfectionist then?
Definitely.
Okay, supposing that we decided to give you the job, and you've been working with us, and you found out one of your colleagues had been drinking. What would you do about the situation?
I would definitely tell the manager, because that's affecting everyone's safety. Not only his safety, everyone's safety. Hi, my name is Shinna. This is my mum. Watch out, I'm gonna be #1. I do get in trouble at school sometimes. If something goes bad, go to Shinna. Just to feel of smacking someone.
Sometimes he deliberately goes out and look for trouble. Not outside the house, but within the house with his brother and sister. If they're sitting with me, Shinna will deliberately come and sit in between, just to make sure he is the one next to me.
I want to do well in school. I want to also go uni because I want to do well in my life. I want to have a good career. I want to show people that I will become something good, that I am going to make something of my life.
We had a short list, but there was one outstanding one, and that was Onawinde. Stand up, Onawinde. You were keen, obviously hard-working, and we would be very happy to have you on board and working for our company. Well done.
Well done.
Let's see it!
Roger, you ready? Let's go.
It's showtime. For the last 3 weeks, the boys have been getting to grips with each other in their wrestling classes. Now, they're fighting it out for the Hope Green Wrestling Cup.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our first two contestants. From Milton Keynes, Perry the Crusher Doyen. And from the deep southwest, Harvey Psycho Hartman.
In the 1960s, physical health and fitness took center stage in the curriculum. As a result, only 1 child in 25 had weight problems. Today, a staggering 1 in 5 kids are clinically overweight. Secondary moderns encourage boys to excel at manly pursuits. They built up their muscles in the gym and channeled their teenage aggression through sports such as boxing and wrestling. Each wrestling bout lasts 2 minutes. The 2 best wrestlers will meet in the final. The aim is to gain a submission from the opponent with an arm, leg or ankle lock. No choking allowed. In the case of no submission, it's the referee who decides who put up the best fight. Even PE skyber Chris Hoban plucks up enough courage to actually take part. But he stands little chance against Hope Green's very own Golden Balls, Sheena Onowinde. In the mid-1980s, competitive sport became frowned upon, as some experts believed the competitive element had a negative effect on low achievers. But for self-confessed geek Daniel Gallagher, it sees him find inner strength he never knew he had, to seal a victory over pre-tournament favourite Ben Barber. The fights are as tight as a 1960s wrestling suit, and many of the lads are showing a new side to themselves. Franklin Asante proves he's not only slick with words, but he's also slick with some moves in the ring as well. However, it seems bad boy Alex Roberts just can't stop himself when it comes to breaking the rules.
You slapped him across the chest. You also tried to choke him. However, your attitude, language was absolutely disgusting. So as far as I'm concerned, you're completely out. And you are correct.
The judges have conferred, and could I ask Onowinde and Doyle to step up to the ring? Well done.
The big moment has arrived. The final of the Hope Green Wrestling Challenge. Onowinde versus Doyle. Onowinde takes the early advantage. But Doyle valiantly fights back. Despite the weight disadvantage, Onowinde begins to dominate and Doyle starts to tire. Time's up, and with no submissions, it's down to the ref's decision.
Very, very good match, very, very close. It was very difficult, but we're going to give you the edge because of the body weight disadvantage. So...
Please give
Honor Windy a big round of applause. Well done, Honor Windy. Excellent. Well done. Congratulations. Absolutely excellent. Hold the trophy up. Excellent. Well done.
I wasn't sure if I was going to win it. I was not sure I was going to win it. I didn't actually think I was going to win it, actually. But I knew that I would have given my 100%.
I must admit, I was really worried about it because, especially when they told me the girls are coming, I felt, no.
Everything's bad. It's just, oh, it's so revealing. They look so funny and it's unbelievable.
I felt good because one of them was the biggest, you know what I mean? And it stand out, and you notice the girl watching you.
You know, not exactly pulling it off. really scrawny little boys.
But I went into an absolute kind of zone, which when I was up there, I couldn't hear any cheering, nothing. I was just totally focused.
This is to prove, yeah, you may be naughty, you could be naughty, but you also could be good. See, because I'm one of the naughtiest, but also I'm one of the best. So I'm gonna see what, I'm gonna be good now, I can't be bothered to be naughty, so yeah, I'm gonna be a winner.
Get Casey to no, time order.
How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Stop fidgeting!
Still to come, jumping and pole dancing, 1960s style,
I'm very proud of him.
and emotional reunions at Open Day.
Don't cry.
Day has finally arrived. Hope Green's Open Day. The school is busy with last-minute preparations. The girls adding the finishing touches to their cakes, while Matron is sorting out the final touches to the boys' hair.
Honestly, Perry, it looks superb.
Thank you.
Shame about the rest of you.
Before being briefly reunited with their friends and family for the first time since term began, the pupils have their Open Day display to perform, and nerves are running high.
And a warm welcome to Hope Green Secondary Modern School. I really am delighted to see you all here in such large numbers. I'd now like to call upon our head boy to give his speech. Please give him a warm welcome.
For me, this term has been brilliant. I've loved every minute of it. And I think I speak for most people sitting in there that it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Since being here at Hope Green, we've had so many different experiences, so many different lessons. For instance, bricklaying, wallpapering, wrestling with Mr. Baker, mechanics, and rural studies, milking a goat called Nadia. And typing, home economics, cooking, sewing, cleaning a flat. That's for the girls. The teachers at Hope Green, yeah, they were strict, but they're fair. And when the going gets tough, there's always Matron, who gives you a little chat, and she makes you feel a whole lot better, because she's not scary all the time, honest. Finally, I'd like to thank you all again for coming, and I hope you have a great day at Hope Green Secondary Modern. Thank you.
First up, it's the boys' coordinated gym display. So far, so good. Now it's the maypole dance to round off a perfect performance. With the display over, it's time to head for the marquee for tea, cakes and family reunions.
Oh yes,
This is the first time our 60s kids will have seen friends and family for over 3 weeks.
Don't cry. Come on, don't cry.
In that time, they've learned a range of practical skills including how to bath a baby, how to sew an apron, and how to change the wheel on a car.
I can bake you a cake now, I can do a Swiss roll.
But how do their parents feel about the life skills they've picked up?
But a lot of mums nowadays, like myself, we work full time. I don't have a great deal of time to show her, so I often say, I'll just do it myself. And so obviously if she was still being taught to cook at school, that would be really good for her, because my mum never had time to teach me how to cook, and I've had to teach myself at a much later date. So yeah, I think it would be good if there was more cookery in schools these days.
Oh, you never guess what I did? You never guess what? I popped a chicken, pulled all of its insides out and cooked it. You never? I did that.
Did you eat it? Did you eat it?
Yeah. Well done. Oh, you nigger.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the bricklaying teacher, and for the last 3 weeks I've been fortunate enough to have some very good bricklayers that I've been training. And this is, as you can see, is the work of these 5 young gentlemen. It is not coming down, it will be here forever.
For the parents of the academic underachievers in the bricklaying class, seeing what they've built is a particularly emotional moment.
I'm very, very proud of him.
There's 2 isn't even going on. This part here, that's excellent, that. Excellent in the rendering. Very good, yeah.
I'm chuffed a bit with it, like, and then to see my dad come and say it's good as well because he's a bricklayer, it makes you feel even better about it. And everyone's faces when they saw the wall, everyone's faces just lit up, so you feel good about it. Like, we feel like we've accomplished something as well.
It feels great to see my mum here and my nan, she came down all the way from Scotland to see what I've done and all the other lads have done. It's really good.
Oh, I think it's very, very important that they've learned skills like block laying, mechanic and woodwork, because those are things they don't come by easily. And those are skills for life, and it takes them off the street as well, because they know they can put their hands into practical use and do meaningful things.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about beyond 3 o'clock, I think. So if you'd like to say your farewells now, if you can begin to say your farewells, that would be much appreciated.
So, back to school for our 1960s teenagers. They might have impressed friends and family, but their biggest test is still to come. In just 3 days, the examinations begin, and we'll find out how much they've really learned.
Silence!
Absolute. Next time on That'll Teach Him, water fights at Scout and Guide Camp.
We really do come to the end of our time together.
And waterworks at the end of term.
It's time to say goodbye to Hope Green.